So when you're dealing with that, and to try to put those pieces together, you have to deal with somebody's abiding faith in something and someone. You have to seriously believe it. You have to break through that. And Christians are very feminine in their mentality. They're fickle in a certain way when it comes to you thinking about giving them reason, but they're super faithful when it comes to something that they feel is right.
Yeah.
And a woman's feelings get her to think. A man's thinking gets him to feel.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get that.
Yeah, great.
Right. We didn't get that with Obama. We got the feeling.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking.
Yeah.
And now that we got the thinking, we're saying, whoa, who did we marry to?
Right.
So, but I mean, even with everything that we're looking at, even with all the starving going on, with the people that pull out their homes, the people doing worse than they've ever done before, there's still this unabiding spousal faith in this man that sometimes when they start the conversation, they're telling me all about, Barack this. Even one of my closest friends who voted for him, and he is in government, he, every now and then when we pull to the side, he says, wow, man, and it's that kind of frustration after all the belief that he has to give to me, and I don't want to say anything. I let him do all the talking. Every now and then I would punctuate his sentences, but I know what that feels like, the betrayal, because I'm living amongst it today with all of the people that I'm with, all of my people, and living amongst that type of betrayal and the kind of denial, the kind of cognitive dissonance that I'm sensing every time I mention his name, that I have to distance myself from and to continue doing the kind of work that you said you saw with me playing around with the Obama and Malcolm X connection.
Yeah. I think that, for me, it's fascinating in the sense that when there was the run-up to the election, I could see this coming a mile away. And I live in California, and I live in a very progressive stronghold in the Bay Area. And my message was, not only did it fall on deaf ears, but people were becoming very aggressive towards me when I would say, this you're getting ready to be set up for a big fall.
Mm-hmm.
And people were, vehemently in denial and very aggressive towards me, and I had to kind of back off on with certain folks. And now they're seeing the effects of their zealotry in some ways. And I think that there's a certain function, and maybe you can address this in the few minutes that we have left here. There's a certain function in the human psyche. Not everybody has it, though. Like, I don't think you have it, and I don't think I have it. But there's a certain function where people have to hold on to something, because if they let that thing go, it's like their lifeline, and they're then left with despair, and they'll hold on to that thing for as long as they can, in the face of overwhelming evidence contrary to that piece. What's your take on that?
Well, I have a term for that I use. It's called theopsychosis.
Uh-huh.
And it comes from the religification of the mind. And when you have someone extolling faith, and when you have to look at the history of our people. Our history of our people is one of constant fighting ever since what they call the Mahangamisi or the Ma'afa or the passage. We've had to constantly have faith. We've had to constantly believe in something to move forward. Now, when you create the conditions so that energy is now focused into a candidate or a cult of personality, when you have a religious mind that every day goes to enhance their faith in something, and now you tell them that their faith is best served by putting their attention and their focus and their support into this character that represents the end result of our faith, then you have a religified mind, I call it. You have a theopsychosis. You have a God-constrained, faith-constrained, faith-focused mind that does not deal with objective analysis, does not deal with critical analysis because it can't. If you dealt with critical analysis, you would see all of the potholes and all of the complete, ridiculous things that the tenets that come together to create what we call Christianity. But the critical mind is not what we're working with here. We're working with the emotional mind. We're working with a mind that is bent on feeling something, and when you put 1,000 people together feeling this, I say to my students, I said, the Creator creates man, and then man creates God. So, I say to them as well that we have 1,000 civilizations that have come and gone, and each one had their God and said that their God led them to victory. But after their civilization fell, so did their God, to be replaced by another named God. So it isn't God creating man, it's man creating God. But those who rule us, the priesthoods who rule us, know how to manipulate that faith. And this is why politics uses religion or needs religion as part of the support base to do what they do in order to manage and to orchestrate. That's what happened when you saw the Queen of England, and we believe that we have a government of the people and by the people, but don't know that out of that 10-mile district in Washington, that we take our orders from another 10-mile district called the City of London in England.
Right.
We don't have that. You and I have that knowledge. But the basic sheeple, the basic cattle, they don't. So it's easy to manage the cattle by faith because we just have to move their feeling. And the thing is, when they smarten up, that's when we become dangerous. We're dangerous in the fact that we're smartening up the people. But the people sometimes don't want to be smartened up. You want to know why? Because it's work to become smarter.
Well, I tell you,
don't want to work.
Yeah, to your point. Yeah, to your point. I mean, the brain is a muscle, and if you want to become quote unquote smarter, you want to have a different perspective. You literally have to break the brain. When you build a muscle, you break a muscle down, you build it up. And if you've been doing it for quite a while, then you're kind of in training, so your brain is able to be able to expand, retain, and take on alternate perspectives. What was I going to ask you about? There was something in my head. Now it's like my brain was so focused on that point that I guess the thing that came to me while you were talking was that in Freemasonry, and I know you know about Freemasonry. I'm
a Freemason myself. I was until I left it. They were so ridiculous. All they wanted to do was some stupid type of things. I went in there as an honorary member to teach the higher mathematics and metaphysics. And when I went in there, it became such a ridiculous and stupid enterprise. I've been wondering how the heck are they ruling? Who is it that's really ruling this planet? But the people, the grand mass of Masons, they don't know. They're behind from their elbows. So I'll tell you the truth.
So when did you leave Freemasonry? How long ago?
About 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and I went in for about a few months. They raised me because they wanted to give me certain, it's an honorary thing. What they wanted to do was, because of the work I did in the community, that part of the black community wanted to give, that's the highest they could have given me anything other than a deaconship someplace, and I didn't want to be bothered with that. But I told them that every time I go to any place and they give me any kind of honorary anything, I want them to understand that I accept the honor because you're giving me a chance to teach and to open people's minds, but do not think that I'm here to conform to any protocols based upon what you believe to be what I need to do and not do. And when I tell them that kind of that smile turns to a kind of frown, and I accept the gratuity. And what it is it becomes a thing where you see that there are people all around you in this little club, and I get it. I used to be pulled over a lot and harassed a lot because of the work I did. Once that happened, nobody bothered me, and I could go forward. I told them that that I don't care. And the thing that they actually did was to bring me in because I was exposing so many of the secrets. So they said, you seem to know, because I was approached on the street by a 33rd, and he said, we've been watching you. And I said, really? I said, good. I said, What do you like, my profile or, full frontal? So, he smiled a little bit. He said, but no, we heard that you've been going through little troubles here and there in the community. Here, take this. And that was at a fruit stand, picking out my fruit. So this is how they come up on you. And I went to this, and my father said, follow through, keeping your own mind. Don't believe in anything but yourself. Father, being military himself, told me what it is I need to do always. You don't do anything that your heart does not tell you is right. I don't care who he is, commanding officer or not. That's why he was up for the Silver Star while he was in Korea, because he didn't listen. But just to let you know that, I've been given all these gratuities. Some guy wanted to come up and give me an honorary 33rd, and because of the work that I do. And I say, all of that is fine, but most people do not know about what the people who are. Is that you?
Yeah, that's me. It's actually my next guest who wants to come on here, so I have to shut him down a little bit. So I think that's kind of a good sort of stopping point. Unfortunately, kind of an abrupt stopping point.
Yeah.
But real quick, within 2 minutes, just give people a quick hit of what they can do to ameliorate these outside influences.
With what you say, like HARP or any of the things?
HARP, or just to stay conscious and stay aware.
Oh, yeah. Well, the first thing I do is I tell my students when they go to a movie, do not go to a movie to be entertained. Take a pad and pen, and whatever it is that you're looking at, take notes. That whatever it is, the theme, something that the star doesn't do, put those notes down, because then you are proactive. You go from alpha to beta. And what you have to do is to make sure that your mind is always in a proactive mode when you're looking at TV. You never look at TV to be entertained. You never also make sure that your children do not look at TV until they're at least 3 to 4 to 5, maybe even 7 years of age. I know that's very difficult in the times that we're in, but I have people that actually do that now. They don't. Their children are not exposed to television. And these children are in the IQs of 110 and 120, 130, 140. What I'm saying is that we have to be proactive in the places that they want us to be, cerebrally submissive. And we have to be constantly vigilant at the food that we eat, because the food is also undermining our DNA, which is undermining our blood, which then undermines our intelligence. You undermine the bloodstream, you undermine the intelligence. Make sure that what we are eating, whatever we're putting into our systems, are organic, fruit and vegetables of the highest quality, water of the highest quality, and intelligence, materials, information of the highest quality, because your mind is also eating, your body is also feeding on that information. And I also say that food is also a way of communication. Food is communicating with nature. The DNA in your food is actually going to give you information that the earth has given to you through its fruits. And when you eat that fruit, you are in tune with nature. That's why animals who are in nature know when to leave when an earthquake is about to happen, because they live with nature, and that's what we have to return to.
Beautiful. That is a wonderful stopping point for our really enlightening conversation. I want to thank you for coming on with me today, Dr. Valentine. And I hope sometime in the future we can have you back on the show and explore a few other topics. Anytime. It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you for all the work that you do, and you take good care of yourself, all right? Same to you, guys. Take care. All right, take care. Bye-bye. So that was Dr. Phil Valentine from the Kemetic Sciences Institute. You can find him on the web, the internet. I'm sorry I didn't get to his webpage. Joshua Hart is waiting. I can see him. He's listening. He's on hold. And he's going to come on here. We're going to talk about smart meters. We're going to transition from Valentine to Hart. I love this theme on the show today. So, Josh, just hang in there. Give me a second or two. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to play a song, 3 minutes. So I'm going to have you on in 3 minutes, and I'll be back. We'll bring you on, and then we'll transition into the fight against the proliferation of smart meters, and we'll find out where Joshua is with his crusade against the smart meter network.